Hey guys, you're watching the late night football show and some controversial decisions by the PFA. I mean, a lot of people are happy and a lot people are unhappy with whatever the outcomes have been. So we have two esteemed panelists here and we're going to discuss it. So let's talk about the PFA Young Player of the Year. Let's go for that first of all. So Phil Foden got it. I mean, he played around 23 matches and scored again around 8 to 9 goals, assisted around 7 to 8 goals. So I mean, it was a decent return, but you have to consider the fact that he was playing as a wing. Don't look at it as a midfielder because he was actually playing on the mid, but he was sometimes playing as a false nine, sometimes playing on the right wing as well. So he was floating around all the pitch. So that is need to be taken into consideration. And so I think the people are basically saying Mount should have gotten it, right? I think he is the closest contender for Young Player of the Year, or maybe we'll let know from you guys. So Aniket, why do you think? What do you think? Is it fair? Is it on merit, or it is not? Is it not?
I think Phil Foden winning the player of the year, young player of the year, I think it was fair because, and yes, Mount was the closest contender and it would have been even Mount also, but these are fine margins for giving the awards. But Phil Foden has done assisted and scored a bit more than Mount did. Yes, Mount did play a lot more games than Phil Foden, but Phil Foden did this in a club where there is Kevin De Bruyne, there is Jesus, there are so many players who can score more than Phil Foden can, and yet he was able to stand out in a star-studded club. Whereas Mount was basically the guy who carried the club for a long time. They didn't have a proper striker for some time, and the midfield wasn't that good. So, in that regard, I think as a standout performer, maybe Phil Foden did a bit better than Mount did.
Okay, let's go to someone who is not in agreement with this. Why do you think Arif, Phil Foden should not have gotten it, and who, according to you, should have gotten it? Because there are other contenders as well. I mean, people are saying that Saka had actually a lot of impact for Arsenal.
No, I think somewhere I agree with Aniket because, of course, not only he's performed better than in Mount stats wise, he's won the league as well. But if you see how important he was for whatever success the club has gained in terms of Chelsea or Man City, I believe Mount was more crucial to his club. Uh, of course, fourth place, but they wouldn't have gotten there without Mount. So, whereas City could have won the league without Foden as well, I guess. So, but overall, I guess yeah, Foden wins it.
But it's a question of ifs and buts. I mean, we are saying that City could have won the league with. I think Aniket, we need you here. I mean, yes, he's back. So, I mean, you need to put up an argument, but let's see this. I will just say this. I will just point out some facts that, of course, Foden played lesser games than Mount. Mount was more crucial to the Chelsea team, but the Chelsea, which secured the fourth place, was mainly due to. I mean, Mount. People are saying Mount was their best player, but it all happened after Tuchel came in. Before Tuchel, Chelsea were in a very bad position, and what he did was he actually introduced a system where he just made the back line so solid. They're still not scoring goals, and Mount is a big factor in the defense as well because of his pressing and all. But the main players who actually took Chelsea, I mean, people are saying that Mount did it, but who actually took them to the fourth place has been their defenders, and in large part, Thiago Silva, Azpilicueta, and Chilwell, and Reece James, and the keeper. None. Of course, he is. I think if he's not there, they are not finishing in the top four. No way. Because the guy, he actually came so close to Ederson, even after, despite missing so many matches. But I mean, he made some amazing saves. So in a way, I think. But there is Ruben Diaz also, who was a contender for the Young Player of the Year. So it just depends on how you look at it.
The criteria is a bit.
They should lower it.
They should.
I think it should be
22, 23 is 22, 23 is I think a bit too.
They're in contention.
Yes, I mean, so. But okay, but I mean, you are still not that far apart in valuation that maybe Foden wins it, but some agree, but there's no total disagreement. But one award, one thing which has caused major controversy, and this is just yes or no. I think nobody is in between in this. Kevin De Bruyne getting the PFA because for me also he doesn't deserve it. I don't know about you guys, but we'll just start with
Not
Arif.
at all. Not at all. Not at all. Didn't play most part of the season. Hasn't got the assist he usually gets because of injury, absence, whatever the reason is. Harry Kane scores most goal, most assists, most chances created. I also think.
Hmm.
Has to be Harry Kane. What else can a player do individually to get that award? Has to be Harry Kane.
Fair
No
argument.
brainer.
What do you have to say?
Um, yeah, Kevin De Bruyne didn't deserve the PFA award
I
at
mean,
all.
I
I
remember
didn't even know
you
that he
said
was in the running.
your player of the year it was Ruben Diaz, right? I mean, in a previous video we've made.
Yeah,
So I mean,
yeah.
for even you, I mean, if it was not De Bruyne, then it was. If De Bruyne was never in contention, it was Diaz.
De Bruyne, I think De Bruyne wasn't the best player in City itself.
Yeah.
He was in the top. I think he was the third best player after Ruben Diaz and Gundogan.
No,
And
what people are forgetting is this that for for the initial 50, 11, 10 matches or something when De Bruyne was there, he was actually the best player in City's side. He actually has 12 assists and he missed a major part of the season. And he gathered 11 assists in that 10, 11 games only. I was the one who was thinking that he's going to break that assist record this season because he had 11 in 11 to 12 matches. So I was like, of course he's going to break it. But that is the thing. He missed a very crucial part of the season. And when we played Chelsea, I mean, sorry, he was there and he was the man of the match. And I was telling you about the FWA chairman thing, that what she said and why she was the one who voted for Kevin De Bruyne for FWA. Totally different award. But why people must have chosen for De Bruyne? Because they think that the Chelsea game was very, very crucial for the City. I mean, we know all City fans know that. And De Bruyne was the best player in that match. He was the man of the match. He ran the team. He orchestrated everything. He was the one and was keeping them alive in the starting as well. And so I think that is the only.
I'm pretty sure he got the man of the match.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure he got the man of.
Yeah.
That's all he deserves. Then that's all he deserves.
No. But I'm saying in the initial part of the games.
But,
I mean, yeah.
We can make as many arguments as possible, but the fact is that his players, his competitors, they themselves voted for Kevin De Bruyne.
But is it because of reputation or is it just?
I think that it went because of reputation. I think it wasn't on merit this time. I think either the players were very lazy to vote after a very exhausting season. Maybe that they were lazy that let's just give it to Kevin De Bruyne. He's one of the best players in the league. Didn't have his best season yet, but he is one of the best players and just let's give it to him. Or either Kevin De Bruyne has some Jedi mind trick in him that he can manipulate others to vote for him. But it was actually astonishing, Kevin De Bruyne winning it, because this actually came.
It's a big blow for Kane. I mean, he must be thinking, what else do I need to do?
Yeah,
I really did everything.
I think Kane would have been satisfied if Ruben Diaz would have won it or Bruno Fernandes would have won it, because these three were actually the favorites and there wouldn't have been so much disagreement if either of these three would have won it. But Kevin De Bruyne out of nowhere, plus these are his competitors, his peers who are voting for him. So what I can see is that they were just lazy. The players were just lazy
too. He was in shock. And he cannot believe that.
I think, I think even he was in shock that I won it. But it was again a big achievement also we cannot discredit it. He's one of the three only players to have won it back to back.
I just want to ask, who won in the year 17, 18? I guess 18, 17, 18.
Salah did.
Yeah. Salah's that season, 44 goals.
Salah did, right? And
Salah won it in 17.
And I actually thought that De Bruyne should have won that season, really, because City broke every record. City was like the best team in the land, in the Europe, and De Bruyne was so crucial in that. If De Bruyne did not win in that season, I mean, really, he can't win in this season. I mean, it's just the way you look at things. I mean, perspective. I mean, I think that was his best. I know stats-wise that last year was his best, but believe me, City fans know the best year that the City has ever seen is
17-18 definitely was 17.
And it was because
the year Liverpool knocked them out of the Champions League.
Exactly that year. I know, but in Premier League, that was the year that The
Yeah.
best football ever was seen, because I mean, points say that. Points, you don't have to look anywhere else. Most number of goals, most number of wins, away wins, home wins, whatever. Every possible record was broken. 7, 8 goals in a match. De Bruyne in that Stoke match, Watford match, Bruno. If if you remember this season, there is not one. I mean, apart from the Chelsea match, which moment of De Bruyne do you remember? I don't remember anything.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, in
still,
this season, I think at
That's
the
absolutely
Everton
ridiculous.
game, the last game was one of his
yeah,
best performances in the season. But other than that,
that does not count really.
But of course, Aguero,
how can it not count? It's
Aguero
still,
won it.
yeah, Aguero did overshadow, but De Bruyne was the one of the best performances
But
he gave
no,
in this season.
really, I mean that man, come on. I mean, I'm saying if you look at this season,
It does not
which
count
player, which
in
player? I mean, every season has a player, right? I mean, you think back that to that season and you remind of that player or that player. But you want to look back at this season? I mean, whom are you gonna? I think I would remember Foden more, Diaz more than De Bruyne in City team. I would remember Lingard more. I would remember Kane
Foden did
definitely.
have a lot of moments, better moments than De Bruyne. I think him scoring at Anfield
See,
was one
my
of the biggest
argument has
moments in the
totally
season for
stumped
Man
you guys.
City.
You both are
And
freeze.
still also
I think
actually
so.
in my video you are
We'll talk about
freeze.
that.
I think we are freeze. Oh, I'm not. Okay, I'm gone. I can't say anything. I'm officially gone. I think we will stop the video now because you. This is an epic though. Okay. I think we have made our say. So let's just end the video here.